Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to react to this on the street interview where he goes to Georgetown University and then he goes to the hood, asking a simple question. Would you date a transgender person? And the responses are interesting based on, various levels of education, based on certain ideologies that people have. And, some answers are perhaps more honest than others. So let's take a look.
Would you personally date a transgender person?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
No.
No.
And why is that?
I'm heterosexual.
Would you date a transgender person? First we're gonna ask Georgetown and then we're gonna ask the hood.
Either of you guys date a transgender?
Yeah, I would. Yes.
And have you ever done it?
No.
Yeah, I'm already in a relationship.
Is it a transgender relationship?
No, it's not.
Would you?
It's interesting how many people seem to answer straight away without even thinking about it. But many of them probably believe it's the right thing to say. Otherwise, you're a bigot.
Date a transgender person?
I don't see why not. I don't think it's like that big of a deal.
Would you personally date a transgender person?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Would you date a transgender?
No, I'm a transgender. I like men.
A man that's dressed as a woman would make me appear to be a lesbian in public, but I'm heterosexual. I wouldn't date a woman that's dressed as a man because then that is being a lesbian and I'm not a lesbian, so.
Why don't you want to?
I mean, I'm straight, bro. I like females.
Right.
Real females, you feel what I'm saying? So if you're dating a transgender person and you're straight at the time, does that mean you're straight after you date them?
Yes. Yeah.
I think you're still straight. Like you're a guy and you're dating a trans girl. Yeah.
And bear in mind, most transgender people, or at least a lot of transgender people, for a long time, they don't go through the whole surgery. I mean, look at Dylan Mulvaney. If you're a man who's okay with dating somebody who has a penis too, most people would consider that gay. When you consider that most transgender people, they haven't gone through the surgery and everything. They're only presenting themselves as the sex they identify as on the outside. But everything else, for the most part, is still the same with a lot of them. So is it a certain type of transgender person you would date, or it doesn't matter? Is it only people who have gone through all of the surgery and everything, so that at least everything appears the opposite? Or you're okay with dating somebody with the same biology as you, even though that doesn't change anyway, but still, appearance-wise.
Yeah, I think you're still straight. Because also sometimes it's just hard to tell.
You're still straight even if you're dating a transgender person?
Yes. I guess because it's your own sexuality, and I guess it doesn't really matter in regard to who you're dating as long as it's what you are.
When do we reach that point where you're no longer straight?
Like, okay, let's say you're a male, but then you're with someone who was a woman but transitioned into a male, then I guess like you would be gay then. People who identify as the same gender. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so it's all.
Oh, okay. So your sexuality can be determined based on what the trans person identifies with, not what they actually are. Right.
Okay, so it's all about identity, not necessarily by biology in that respect, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
People are telling us that you could date a transgender person and still be straight. Does that make sense to you?
No, that don't make sense because they changed their gender. So technically, you still not straight. You changed your gender for that person.
No, because they're not originally a girl. I wouldn't say that you'd still be straight.
You think that's something else at that point?
Yeah, it's something else. Might have to make up something.
It don't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call it a different type of category of, sexuality, then fine. But I don't think you can call it being heterosexual.
How you straight, but you dating? I guess because they changed their gender, but it still don't make sense. Right. Because you were born your way.
Can't still be straight and do that. I don't see how that can be.
That doesn't make any sense to you? People say that, yeah.
Why do you think some people are hesitant to date a transgender?
With a lot of religion, people want to say that it's their only personal belief. They don't understand that it's just how people are, and being transgender doesn't mean that you're bad. You're just a person. That's how you are. That's how you're born. There's a lot of unknown,
Yes, they're a person, but, if you claim to be tolerant, you should also be tolerant of people's beliefs too. People's religious beliefs. There's a lot of hypocrisy there. It seems there's a lot of tolerance only when you adopt mainstream ideologies. But when you have your own personal religious beliefs, the tolerance goes out the window.
And that like really freaks people out.
Probably just scared to get judged if they're dating a transgender, like, oh, then people are gonna think I'm gay. Or
Why?
No. It's not simply about worrying about what people think. Most people don't. It's that they're not attracted to somebody of the same biology as they are because they're not gay. They are heterosexual. So attraction is the issue, regardless of how they appear on the outside. Even after they do all the surgery and everything, they're still going to know that this person was originally, the same biology as them. So therefore, the attraction is not going to be there. You can't force people to be attracted to you or certain groups of people. Okay, there's people who have certain preferences and you can't force them to be attracted to the group you want them to be attracted to. Just like women on that lesbian dating site, many of them got thrown off the dating site because they didn't want somebody who was essentially, a biological male who says they identify as a woman. They didn't want that because I guess they weren't attracted to that. But yet they were, discriminated against and thrown off the dating site. So again, you can't force people, to be attracted to certain groups. If the attraction isn't there, it's not there. That doesn't mean they're a bigot.
Why do you think people wouldn't want to date a transgender person?
They're transphobic and homophobic.
Okay.
Probably that they just don't understand.
So not being attracted to someone makes you a bigot.
I think some people don't want to date transgenders.
Well, it's a choice. Some people don't want to date men. Some people don't want to date women.
Why exactly do you not want to?
Because I'm not into them. But they're cool. I will hang with them. But personally, I'm not doing that. Dating, not doing that. I won't say nothing about nobody's personal opinion. If you like transgenders, that's fine. Because I got gay friends, lesbian friends. Like, it's just up to you.
So do you think a lot of this is...
Some people will call that young lady a bigot, when clearly she is not a bigot. But again, people on the radical left will call someone like that, who appears to be a very nice person, a bigot and all sorts of things, just because they're being honest about who they would typically be attracted to and who they would not be attracted to.
Is education based?
Yeah, I think if we start young, we could definitely teach children to be more accepting and more loving of everyone of different identities.
Like starting kindergarten, preschool?
Yeah, I think so. Just showing different families and different identities, how people feel about their identity and in their own skin is really helpful.
Why do you think some people wouldn't date a transgender person?
I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with things that they are not educated on. We don't talk about it enough, and so a lot of people don't know how to approach things like this.
They're scared because it's different to them and they don't like to go beyond their bubbles.
I think a lot of people just don't understand, and there's a lot of fear mongering. So what they do know is a very limited perspective, or is from a very particular lens.
People are scared of what they don't know about, and they're just uneducated, and they don't make the efforts to educate themselves.
Yeah, of course, but none of these people have dated a trans person themselves, though, have they? Maybe we can educate people to be attracted, to a trans person. Maybe we can educate them or brainwash them. Let's start while they're young, right? So that when they grow up, they're attracted to trans people. How sick is that?
How do you think we change that? Is that something we would go to the schools?
I think we could introduce more education in the schools and things like health classes, but I think a lot of places are really against that. They're against sex ed and all that in general. So it's hard, but I think the schools would be a good place to start.
It requires some education to move past that in order to challenge the belief that you hold. It might be a true belief, but it's that belief is informed by information that if they were to be educated about or were to seek more information about, it might challenge that belief itself.
Some people that we spoke to said that the reason people wouldn't want to date a transgender person is because of education. Do you agree with that?
I'm going to say no, because that's not the way I go.
You would never change your feelings, right?
No.
Do you think?
And why should he? So we can educate people to be attracted to the people we want them to be attracted to. And let's start while they're in kindergarten. Absolutely sick and ridiculous. And I honestly believe people don't even know what they're saying. They don't know what they're saying. Because that would involve introducing concepts to children that is inappropriate for them to be exposed to. But they're not even thinking about it.
I think that we should be trying to educate people to change their feelings.
if you want to and if they're open to hear it.
So you don't think you could teach someone feelings?
You can teach people feelings, but not everybody gonna accept how you feel.
Do you guys think there's any other reason that someone wouldn't want to date a transgender person?
I'm sure there's like a lot of personal beliefs one would hold. Personally, I think that those beliefs are like backed up by information that's unsupported.
I identify as straight, unfortunately, but I feel like I would be open to it for sure. Unfortunately.
You think that's unfortunate?
That I'm straight? It's not the vibe these days.
Did you guys date?
So it's all about adhering to the vibe. Right. Notice how, again, the people in the hood, they seem to have more common sense than these people who have clearly been indoctrinated, in these colleges and mainstream media. It's all a lot of virtual signaling. I'm going to say that I would date a trans person, say that I would, come across as a nice person. I'll come across as a tolerant person. I would come across as an educated person. Indoctrination is not the same as education. We want to educate kids. That's teaching them what is useful to them, not teaching them how you want them to feel, not teaching them the ideologies that you want them to possess. Don't try to essentially brainwash people.
A transgender.
Actually, no, not really. Yeah, I'm not really.
Why not?
I believe this is not normal. This is not normal thing to change from female to male or male to female, because God, Allah, created us in a specific way. So why we change that?
Where are y'all from?
From Saudi Arabia.
And I guarantee you, in other parts of the world, they can answer simple questions. They can say what a woman is. They can answer clearly whether or not they would date a trans person and not be worried about backlash. They don't virtual signal. They answer honestly, like the people in the hood did. In other parts of the world, this is not a thing. A lot of places are laughing at America right now because people are dumbing themselves down in an attempt to appear smarter and more knowledgeable than everybody else. But really, they have lost all touch with reality. They have lost all touch with basic common sense. So let me know what you think. How would you answer that question? Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.